Hi, my name's Simon Hayes from RMT Motorcycle Training. The next video you're going to see is basic throttle use and braking techniques. Okay, now to discuss the throttle. This is probably one of the most important parts of the bike that a lot of people get wrong. So when we're holding onto the throttle, we're going to have a nice light grip, and you want the wrist and the arm to be fairly level. What we don't want to do is cock the wrist over, because this will mean that we've got too much power on and we won't be able to control the throttle very well. The other thing that we see quite a lot is people have a low wrist, and then it causes problems with trying to accelerate and again getting the correct technique with the throttle. So a nice flat wrist with a nice gentle grip. When we put the throttle on, it needs to be delivered nice and gently so that we're just putting the power on enough to keep the engine busy. The reason we keep the engine busy is to stop the bike from stalling, and we'd use the throttle in conjunction with the clutch. So when we were pulling away, as an example, we'd use the throttle nice and gently, put on a little bit of power, and what this will do, it will give us a little bit of engine rev so the bike doesn't stall when we're using the clutch. As we ride in the bike, then we would then open the throttle to gently put the power on. This would increase our speed. If we're going to change gear, then we turn the power off, pull the clutch in, do the gear change, and then we put the power back on. Again, all the control on the throttle is nice and delicate and nice and gentle. Okay, what I do, I turn the power off and I use my front brake, again with all four fingers. The reason I use the front brake is to take the speed off and slow the machine down. It's the most effective brake that we have on the bike. In conjunction with the front brake, I'm going to use a little bit of rear brake as well, which would be used when the bike's in an upright position and travelling in a straight line to take the speed off the bike. I use the front brake slightly before the rear brake. When I'm not using the brakes, I'll return my hand back to the throttle and release the rear brake, and then I'll just continue riding. The good thing about having the arm in this place on the handlebar is so that when I do turn the power off, I can keep the web of the thumb against the throttle, which keeps the throttle closed, and I use all four fingers nice and gently on the front brake. What I don't do is I don't use the front brake while I'm cornering or while the steering is being turned. The reason being, it loads the front end with the weight and it upsets the weight of the bike. Many people have problems in a corner by using the front brake excessively, and this may result in falling off the bike. The other reason we don't use the front brake at slow control is because the weight goes forward too much through the forks, and then the forks rebound the weight back, and that's when people fall off when they're near junctions. So just to reiterate, turn the power off, front and rear brake together to slow the machine down. We use our gears while we're slowing down, and when the bike's going at a nice slow speed, we can release the front brake and then continue braking on the rear brake. So there you've seen how to use the throttle and both brakes on braking techniques. If you want to see some more video clips, look on our YouTube channel, and if you're interested in CBT or any further training, go to rmtnet.co.uk.